Hello, hello. I was like, why did Margaret leave a comment? Oh, right, I've been streaming for like 7 minutes now. I didn't even realize I was getting ready. I forgot how to do all this. It's been so long. Let me just quickly make a tweet. All right. It's been a while. Sorry about the long gap between sessions. This summer we've actually managed to do some traveling, which has been really good. What am I looking for here? Twitch. There it is. Gosh, it's taken me forever to get back into the swing of things. I had to update my stream key, of course, because of the Twitch hack. And that's what got me all thrown. All right, tweet. Okay, I'm back. All right. Oh, and I need to get my pattern because, and I need a tape measure. Gosh, look at this. I'm so discombobulated today, of course. Let me just very quickly grab some tools. I'll be right back. Come on. Okay. Tape measure, knitting. God, it's been so long. Pattern, vest. Dr. G's memory vest. Open the pattern. And I think I was going for like 18 inches long, if I recall. My husband's a very long torso. So like from, right, I got a ways to go yet before I get to the armholes. He's got a long torso. Cool. All right, where am I on the pattern? That should be the one that I'm at. Yes, got it. Cool. Just took me a little while to figure everything out again. How's everybody been? As I said, it's been a long time, mainly because we've been lucky enough here in Europe this summer to actually do some traveling. And for traveling, I actually was doing some crochet, just because little crochet squares are slightly more portable and I don't need to carry a big pattern with me. You're crocheting right now? Nice. What are you making, Fuzzy Loops? Through the back. That's right, this is coming back to me. And it looks like I am on a cable cross row. And amigurumi, Paw Patrol's Chase, and I believe Bub. Okay. Yeah, I was just doing squares. I'm not a huge crocheter, so I haven't done any amigurumi. Pretty cool though. I always tell people it's great for doing three-dimensional things. Across the ladder. Yeah, I don't know. Probably won't be until Christmas that I'm back to doing this regularly, to be completely honest with you. We still have some travel coming up. Next weekend we are going to Neuschwanstein, aka the real Disney castle, which is a couple hours from Munich. It's actually quite difficult to get tickets, but I saw the other day there were a couple tickets available, so jumped on them. So next weekend I probably won't be on here, and we'll hopefully be in Hohenschwangau. And then 2 weeks after that, I will be in Zurich. I'm hosting a hackathon, Digital Switzerland. AWS is a sponsor, so I'll be in Zurich for that. And then November, December, we are largely going to be on holiday. Like, we had hoarded our vacation time for this year, thinking we would like to visit Australia, and of course Australia is only just finally starting to open up, but you can't carry over your holiday in Germany, so we got to use it by the end of the year. So taking a week in the UK, rather, not in London necessarily, in November, and then I'm going to the US for our reInvent conference, and then finally visiting my family for the first time in quite some time. Playing a lot of video games, Margaret? What's your favorite series that you've been playing? Yeah, Jacob, I would really love to go home and visit my in-laws, but now that they're gonna have home quarantine, that I'm hoping like January, like maybe February or March, we'll be able to visit. I know it does sound busy, Fuzzy. I'm actually. Seems weird to have all this, but it'll be nice to see my family again. Both family in the US and family in Australia. Like, yes, we've been able to travel around Europe this summer, but it's really just been my husband and myself. Yakuza. Oh, okay. Nice. So are you a gangster or are you fighting them? I forgot how tedious the cable cross rows are. They're interesting, but you gotta do like so many cable crosses in the same row. It's been a bit of a shit show. Oh, yeah. Honestly, the last year has flown by, and the first 6 months, Jacob, I was watching all of you lot. Halloween last year is when we went into lockdown, October 30th in Germany. And we were in lockdown for 5-6 months, more or less. Like, grocery store was open. That's pretty much it. Like, everything was closed. And so it was just inside. And then it wasn't until like sort of In March, they started loosening up a little bit. Like I could go to the hairdresser, but I had to have a negative test before I went. But now that people's really, we've been vaccinating, things really opened up in sort of April, May. And then unfortunately watching, so I spent 6 months thinking, oh my God, I've made a huge mistake. I've come to Europe to travel and just been stuck in the house. And you're all going to theater and restaurants and all that. And then the last 6 months has been the opposite. So, it all averages out. You are a lawyer turned PI, but your best friend partner is an ex-Yakuza. Ooh, okay. So you taking him down, or? That's cool. I am still playing the ridiculous Harry Potter puzzles and spells matching game. You would not believe I had this tortured decision to leave my old team, because you have teams in it. I don't know literally any of these people, but I was in Granger Girls. And unfortunately, a huge deal of like how well you do in the team tournament is just how many people in your team of 30 actually play. And I gradually realized that Granger Girls, like, there were only like 5 of us that were regularly playing. So I quit and joined German Wizards Unite. And we have a lot more people playing and are doing quite well. So yes, that's what I do in between, well, when I'm sitting on trains. Most of our travel this summer's been on trains, actually. We've really only had, our first flight was beginning of August. We trained it up to the Scandinavia, to the Nordics, and then flew back from Finland. And it actually felt really weird to be on an airplane. Yeah, Delta hit you guys hard. And it was, I mean, look, Delta's here as well. Like, it's not like it isn't. But, and I think right now, Australia, in terms of vaccination, is doing better than Germany. Like, we came out of the blocks really fast, but it's sort of topped out at like 65%. Anyone who wants a vaccine here can just go in and get one. I had a team member I hired, a new guy on my team from Belarus, who came to Munich last week, and he had the Sputnik vaccine, which Germany doesn't recognize, but what have I done? Yellow was supposed to be the start of the round, wasn't it? Ah, shoot! I think I've messed something up. Because if yellow's the start of the round... Uh-oh. Uh-oh! I was so focused on... That looks correct. Did I miss one on this round? Was yellow the start of the round or was blue? I'm gonna have to go watch my old streams to actually determine this, because I can't remember. Actually, no, I can tell because it's where the end is. It's blue. Whoo, look at that. So that lines up with the blue. So blue is the start of the round. Thank God. I thought I'd screwed it up. Yeah, so the vaccination. He literally the first weekend he was here, my new Belarusian colleague, he went into the vaccination center here and he and his wife got vaccinated. So you can just go in and get them. My worry is because we have the cross vaccination. I had AZ for my first and Moderna for my second. I don't think the US or the UK will recognize that. So I have a feeling I might need to go to my GP and see if I can get another Moderna. So at least I have a matched pair. It's fine everywhere we've been going in the EU, but I just think US and UK want you to have it. It's fairly common in Germany to have the Kreuzimpfung. What? What? Australia banned it? No, no way. Really? No. But yeah, unfortunately, Germany has quite a lot of anti-vaxxers. There've been a few protests. But what they're moving towards, see, all summer it's been so-called 3G. Get impf, get tested, or, excuse me, genesen. Get impfed is vaccinated, get tested is had a test, or genesen is recovered with a doctor's certificate. So to get in any of these places, you had to have one of those. And what they're talking about is they're going to move to 2G, which is geimpft or genesen. You're not going to be able to get tested anymore. Like, you're going to need to be one of those two to get in to the cinemas and to restaurants and stuff. I think that was it. Or maybe it's only geimpft and I can't remember. It's going from 3G to 2G. And the other thing is, because tests here, if you live here, are free. You know, you can get a test every day. But they're going to start charging for them. So that's the thing. If you're not getting vaccinated, you're going to need to get tests, and you're going to need to pay for them. So I think that's the catch they're going to try and use. Yeah, I'll get another Moderna, so at least. Okay. Bunch of knitting projects I started last winter, spring, and didn't finish. Oh, the efficacy. Yeah, Jacob, I think that's the thing. I think the different ones are better at keeping you out of hospital, but not necessarily keeping you out. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely going to need to be boosters. I believe they are doing boosters here for people like in vulnerable groups and stuff. And I know in the US, like several of my family have had boosters in the US. Makes sense. I actually should get a flu shot. I think I read that this office was doing flu shots, and I missed it because I was traveling that week. But we also still wear masks here. Like, that's the thing, even though we've been quote unquote, the summer's been pretty open. Germans are pretty good about following the rules. I don't twist those stitches, do I? No, I don't. So, like, I've been to the cinema twice, which felt really odd to go to the movies for the first time in like 2 years. And yeah, went to see Dune, which is out here, and then also The Green Knight. And yeah, you wear a mask unless you're stuffing popcorn in your face. Actually, The Green Knight we saw in one of those sort of little premium cinemas, and since you're sort of sitting in recliners so far from everybody else, they actually let us take them off because there were only like 10 people in the room as well. I think the big cinema we may have also had, I think they also did limited numbers of tickets so that there was always there was an empty seat between each group. Okay, I've already got a repeat on this station, so this station does not have enough. So let me switch it up. Let's try something else. How about... There we go. Yeah, the U.S. has been very different. I do not understand people who get mad at other people for wearing a mask. That's just stupid. When I go to the U.S. this December, I will be wearing my freaking mask. I think the U.S. is probably topped out around where Germany did as well. So Australia's doing amazing. I'm really pleased to see that. And everybody's a little bit worried about opening. It's because everything's opening up tomorrow, right? Like, yeah. That'll be strange for you all. Actually going up to Scandinavia because, you know, we took the train up. You wear your mask the whole time on the train. Get out of the train in like Helsinki and nobody's wearing masks. It's like, nope, I'm still wearing my mask. We went out, walked around the city on Friday night in Helsinki, and it was like the last weekend of summer. And it was like chock-a-block with people not wearing masks. Young people. Oh my God, it felt really weird and a little scary. Yeah, New South Wales is opening up state by state, isn't it? Oops, not a twist line. Oh my gosh, half an hour and I've finished one row. I lived in Australia for 19 years. I know the bloody states. I still own a house in Sydney. I have an Australian passport. I'm Aussie, dude. Don't sound like it, but I am. You forgot! Oh, please. I introduced myself here. Ich komme aus Australien. People tend to like Australians more. So I use the Australian passport wherever I can. Let's move the marker. I've been to every Australian state. Yes. Done a little bit of sewing. Don't hang on, Twitch. Don't do that. Don't do that, Twitch. There we go. Yeah, you're still wearing your mask. Yeah, I'm still wearing my mask too. Honestly, the airplane was the one that felt the weirdest. Like, it felt like, you're gonna get it. This is where you're gonna get it. I was reading an article this morning that was like, if you ever wanted to go to Venice, now's the time to go to Venice. It's not full of tourists. Which is why we're going to try and hit Neuschwanstein next weekend. I figure this is the smallest number of people that will be there. nice this wool is. It's lovely. Yeah, I have done a little bit of sewing over the summer, just a tiny bit, mainly because of my quilt. I should show you guys, actually. It's right behind me. Let me just grab it. One sec. So this quilt is made out of shirts I got at the op shop more than 20 years ago and cut up and this is all hand sewed into squares. The white was a sheet I got at Kmart Broadway. And so sewed it and hand quilted it. So needless to say, not the greatest quality materials, so it's falling apart. Actually, when did I make this? 2002. I think there's an inscription in one of the corners. I think it was 2002. So it's been a while. And so what I've done, you can see the red. So the red is where I've been repairing it. So some of the squares are like eaten through, like they've just worn through. A few of these shirts were very thin. And so what I've done is I've put a big patch of red fabric over it. I've zigzagged around it, so you can see on the back as well. I've just done them zigzag with my machine. And then I've used some stranded cotton to do a little bit of embroidery over the top, just to quilt it a little bit. And I think that kind of like it. It's gonna allow it to last a little longer. So I did some of those last year. So there's another one that I did during lockdown. Watching Bridgerton, wasn't it? Yeah. But I've just added some more. I had to order new fabric because I didn't have any more red fat quarters here. So I've put some more on, and I need to do the embroidery over the top. So I'll do that this winter. See if I can. I kind of like the idea that I will just keep patching it, and it will gradually get, there's another one, more and more patched over the years. And I kind of like the effect of it. Anyway, that's a little bit of the sewing. A little bit of sewing I've been doing. Just putting the patches on because it was really starting to get quite threadbare in places. Yeah, I got it at the Kmart Broadway. Yeah, I mean, my house is in Chippendale. Maybe when I get back. We're going to be here for at least another year. That's the plan. So been here 1 year now. We'll be here for at least, I'm thinking probably end of 2022 or beginning of 2023 we'll head back. Yeah. Want to at least get one proper Oktoberfest. I mean, I live like 5 blocks from Oktoberfest, the fairground, but it's been canceled the last 2 years, so that sucks. I'm not leaving until we get at least one of them. They are going to do the Christmas markets this year, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, Margaret, it would have been great. I mean, Aussie Christmas. I love Aussie Christmas. But also, I'm not going to lie, Christmas here, even being under lockdown, Christmas here last year was lovely. It actually snowed. We had a white Christmas. And just kind of being locked in and cozy, and I did all that streaming. So our plan is actually to visit my family and stuff and be back in Germany for Christmas, just because it's actually, it is kind of a nice change up to have a proper winter Christmas. much more Australian can I be? I'm literally wearing Uggs as we speak. How big's your balcony, Margaret? Is it big? Oh, wow. All right. That's nice. We have actually been looking at other apartments here in Germany, so we've been in this one for a year now. And it's awesome. It's a great place, but we, truthfully, we could spend a lot less. And so we've just been looking. We don't have to leave. We can afford this place, but I'm like, I wouldn't object to, you know, saving a little. Turn that down a little bit. Yeah, we have outdoor space, which is nice. And some of the places we've been looking at don't, so. Talking about how we can, when we get back, renovate our place in Sydney and try and make it so that, because we've got outdoor space in Chippendale, which is, you know, unusual, but we don't really take advantage of it. So trying to think of what we can do back in Sydney to make our outdoor space more livable. Part of the problem is just it's always full of mozzies. Figure out what to plant to, like, get rid of mozzies. Wow. 3.5 meters. That's a good sized balcony. Have you got plants out there? Friend Jody moved places back is she in Petersham now? Yeah, I think. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of following her gardening out on her balcony as well. Going to look at a place tomorrow, actually, which has no balconies and no outdoor space. I know, what am I thinking? But it's right overlooking the Victualian Markt, which is like the old food market down in the, like, open air food market down in the Munich Altstadt. So I thought that would be kind of cool. I don't know. So just go look, have a look and see. Biggest challenge with finding an apartment here is just German kitchens. They're so dinky, the actual space, and most apartments do not have a built-in kitchen. The kitchen is literally a room with like water and gas hookups. You have to bring everything. Cabinets, appliances, all of it. There are ones you can rent that have Einbauküche, which is a built-in kitchen. So that's obviously, we've been not buying a full kitchen here. But even the ones that have it built in, some of them are just tiny, and I just feel like maybe Germans don't cook the way we do. So trying to find one with a decent size, like we went and looked at these brand new apartments, really quite nice, and the fridge is like a bar fridge, like I had in uni, with a tiny little freezer, like that wouldn't hold anything. Like I miss my giant Sydney, you know, double French door fridge that I can put, you know, go to Costco and stock up with freezer stuff and ugh. I guess the idea is you just buy fresh stuff like every 3 days, but whew. Who's got time for that? Ah, your twin brother lives in Berlin. Nice. We haven't been to Berlin yet. Was just talking to a colleague from mine. Was it? Yeah. That's in Berlin, and so we will definitely go visit. I'm looking at your couch, Margaret. Oh, yay! Oh, and that's fun. The table collapses like that. Oh, that's cute. I like the cushions. Yeah, the folding table's awesome. That would be a nice place to sit. And yeah, you could put a little plant at the end. Whew, cute. Oh, you're not a plant person. All right, fair enough. I'm not. I like having them around. I kill them, so. I was thinking we'll just have to get like a landscaper out. Your birthday present. What was your birthday? Happy birthday. I missed your birthday. Happy birthday. Ooh, a pizza oven. Is that a pizza oven? And you can do it on that tiny little wooden table? Are you kidding me? Amazing. Wow. Oh, look at that pizza. Oh, I like that. That's cool. See, if I came over this summer, could have had a pizza. All right, next row, next row. So last weekend, I was in Barcelona, which was pretty cool. Had a work meeting there, and so we decided to go a few days. Oh, it's not the same table? Oh, okay. I did not catch that. So we decided to go a few days early because I'd never been to Spain before. And so Rod came with me, and so we had a couple days in Barcelona before my work stuff happened. And yeah, beautiful city. Quite livable. I saw lots of Gaudi stuff, you know, Trencares, the mosaics, La Sagrada Familia, the famous church that they've been working on for, 2 centuries now or whatever. Which honestly, Gaudi's like style on the outside, not a huge fan of. I like the symbol, like it's very symbolic and everything. It's just a lot. It's over the top. But the inside, absolutely love the inside. I tweeted a couple photos, and I really I need to do a ton of blog posts because we've done all these trips this summer that I've not blogged. I haven't blogged anything since Heidelberg, so I have a ton of I should do that this afternoon, write some blog posts. But yeah, the inside of La Sagrada Familia was amazing. Yeah, Spain was pretty good. Masks everywhere, masks on transport. We had to upload our vaccination passes before we got there. Actually, I think La Sagrada Familia, not only do they check your vaccination, they check your ID to make sure you are the person mentioned on the vaccination. Which it hadn't even occurred to me that people would fake it with other people's. Bit naive, I suppose. So for those just joining or who are new to this stream, I am making Dr. G's memory vest, which is a knitted vest. It's obviously got cables on the front. There's a sort of tree pattern, some twisty, and then a kind of a thing that I'm calling a ladder. It's a pattern that was created for someone who had Alzheimer's, which is why it's called the memory vest for Dr. G. And it's on Ravelry. And I'll put the link to the Ravelry pattern. I have it here. I'll put it in the chat. Dr. G's memory vest. And the cool thing is you donate to Alzheimer's research and the person will send you the pattern. But I'm making this one for my husband for the snook. I mean, vests are more useful in Australia, actually, when we get back, because even though it gets cool in the winter, it's not, honestly, not really cold enough most of the time to wear a full jumper, even though I do. He prefers having multiple layers instead of just a big old jumper. So the wool is from Australia. This is Joe Sharp Silk Road Aran Tweed. Silk Road Aran Tweed. So it's got a little bit of, I think, silk and cashmere in it, is it? It's lovely and soft. It's so soft and squishy. And I believe this color is called Butternut. I bought a packet of it at like a Knitters Guild D-stash several years ago, and I've just been holding on to it. I think it looks like cookies. It looks like a peanut butter cookie. Just gonna share a link on Facebook too, just in case anybody else wants to join in. I haven't done it in so long. I feel like nobody's seeing the subscription notifications, other than Margaret. Margaret always sees it. It's a very cute pizza oven. Did you name it? I would probably give her a name. Is it a girl or a boy? Or a they. It could be a they. Big fan of naming inanimate objects. You're bad at naming things. You're doing uni, right, Margaret? Are you doing a course, I believe? How's it going? God, I feel like I haven't touched base with any of my friends in so long. Stuff due in a few weeks. Yeah, our nephew is at UNSW back in Sydney. I haven't talked to him in ages to find out how he's going. I think, it's been an odd couple of years. So end of next year to finish. Oh, awesome. Well, I finished the German course I was doing through the summer. I actually need to take my test. I need to finish my homework so I get access to the test and then take the test. It's the one thing I haven't done. Did I do that properly on the other side? Let's just double check. Yes, I did. Okay, good. Just got to remember the central trunk of the tree to slip it instead of knit it. 6 years by then? Wow. Yeah, I was looking a few years ago at doing, I don't know, can't even, I'm ashamed to admit I was looking at doing an MBA. Someone was trying to talk me into it. And it was like 3 years part-time. Part-time was still a lot. And I was just like in awe of anyone who can do that kind of thing. And stick to it. One subject a semester. Yeah, that's probably about as much as I would be able to handle as well. I say that knowing that I played that stupid Harry Potter game for like 5 hours yesterday. Yeah, sleep is underrated. Ah, a knot. A terrible, terrible knot. How annoying. How rude. All right, so knot coming up. You will occasionally get a knot in your ball of wool. It happens. I'm actually just going to pull it. I remember at the knitting shop, people used to come in and like complain that like ball of wool is defective because it has a knot. You have to tell them, I'm sorry, no, that's not necessarily the case. I think, you know, there's some standard possibly even that like they're allowed to have like up to a certain number of knots per ball. It's annoying, and definitely, you know, quality yarn will have less. But it happens. And so I'm just joining, I just cut the knot out and I'm joining it in as if it's another ball of wool. So I will tie those two ends together at the back and I'll weave those in later. Just tying it into a bow. So yeah, not unavoidable. I mean, the only yarn that doesn't have knots in it is that horrible acrylic stuff you buy at the, you know, the dollar store, because of course there's no knots in that. It's just plastic. Real animal fiber will break occasionally as it goes through the machines, and so there will be knots. Okay, there's another round done. Move my little marker. Oh, Moby Whale. Is that Fiona? Is that Bee? If not, I know a friend who has almost, yay! Oh, I miss you too, it is you. Oh, I love seeing your little videos of Phoebe and following along. She's so big, such a little girl now, not a baby anymore. Oh, I miss you too. We're hoping to come visit, you know, now that home quarantine's possible, looking at maybe towards the end of summer, if we can get a flight, you know, that isn't a gazillion dollars. Would love to come visit. I have to come see Hannah, obviously, and her hopefully new arrival will be here by then. And yeah, I'm so excited. Miss you all. Last year has flown by. Well, thanks. Yay! I hope you're well. Yeah. Miss you all. And I'm so glad that things are, that like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I don't know. Look, I've read conflicting things about whether or not things opening up tomorrow is good or not. But I know so many people have been struggling in lockdown, so. And I've been feeling terribly guilty about everything we've been doing here, so I'm glad that the situation will be slightly better for you all. And I saw on Instagram the knitting shop I used to work at in Sydney, Morris and Sons on York Street. They've renovated. And so they're not going to open, I think, until Tuesday. But I'm very interested in seeing what they've done, what the renovations are. Because I remember when we moved into that space we used to be, when I worked at Tapestry Craft was at, I think, 55 York Street. Which is now a convenience store next to the, what's the name of that bar with the Star Wars toys, the like underground one? It's something goats, isn't it? This is a goat themed. There's some bar, little craft beer bar, and then there's a convenience store by it at 55 York Street, sort of down under the underground opposite the Grace Hotel. That was where we used to be. And then when I was there many, many years ago, like 2003, 2004. No, it would have been 2004 or 2005 because after we were married, we moved up the street to 32 York Street, and we did it up then. And so I'm actually really interested to see what it looks like these days. So if anybody goes, take some photos for me. What am I knitting? I'm knitting a vest for Rod. So this is called Dr. G's Memory Vest. I actually started it last winter and it's been sitting here for ages. So it's just a vest with cables on it. And so it's got this sort of central, I guess I've been calling it the tree motif. And then it's got some nice cables either side. And I'm knitting it out of this beautiful Australian wool I brought with me, Joe Sharp Silk Road Aran tweed, which is very soft and squishy. It's got a little silk and cashmere in it, along with merino wool. And yeah, poor guy's been waiting for this for over a year now, but it was warm this summer. There was no point, so he'll hopefully get it soon, and so he'll be able to wear it this winter. But I'm knitting it in the round. So I'm knitting it on circular needles as a tube, so going round and around and around in a spiral. And so these markers here, this is the armpit section. So just see how long it is. He's got a long torso. I think I need to go like 18 inches, and I'm at like 14. Yes, I'm using inches. I have it written down somewhere how long it needs to be. And then I'll divide. Then I'll get to the armpits, and so I'll divide for the armpits, and then I need to knit the front and back separately, of course, because you have to have armholes. But it's sort of a V-neck in the front. And then I need to cast on something for me. I need to finish these socks too. So I did it's a pair of house socks. And I finished one. It's this wool. I'm calling them the Minecraft socks because look at this wool color. So this is a house sock with a broken rib pad. He doesn't like wearing hand knitted socks and shoes, but he likes wearing them around the house like slippers. So obviously these are quite big and loose. And so the second one I've only just got the toe. So I need to actually knit the rest of the sock as well. Finish the Minecraft socks. finish this. Finish the little blankie I'm making for Hannah's bub. The crochet blankie I'm doing. Plenty of projects to keep me busy. Then Mom sent me some fabric from America, so I've actually got plenty of fabric to sew. I'm gonna sew some clothes as well this winter. Haven't done a ton of sewing lately. It's like we've been traveling this summer, or I've been riding my bike. I bought a new bike. So for the first year I was renting one. It's this company across Europe called Swap Feet. I think it's Dutch. And so they rent these sort of, traditional Dutch bicycles. It was a 7-speed upright. And the idea is it's like 20 euros a month. And they take care of the maintenance for you. If anything happens, you just call them up and they'll bring you another one and swap it out and fix it. And so I was riding those, but honestly, once I started going longer and longer, sort of pushing 30, 40K, I started, 7 gears. It's better than nothing, but it's a heavier bike, and I was actually getting like the seat, one of these broad seats. So I found one on eBay here locally, which is a 2R, which is a local Munich cycle shop. And it was a few years old, this one. Some lady was selling 27 speed. It's what they call like a hybrid. So it's for street and for, I guess, not really mountain biking, but off-road a little bit, in the sense that I ride it on. There's a lot of paths through Munich. Like there's separated cycleways, which are paved, but also if you're riding through the park, you'll probably be riding on like some dirt or gravel paths. And so this is a sort of nice hybrid option. It's lighter, which I hadn't appreciated until it's a big hill in the park near us, and was always such a struggle to get up it on the Dutch bike, and on this it's like, oh right, I just not as unfit as I thought. The other bike was just way heavy. But I've been having fun sort of tricking it out, and again, I need to put this in a blog post. I bought new grips for the handlebars. One of the tires was flat, so I had to buy a tube, put in a new tube. I took to get it serviced at 2R. I get the brake pads replaced. They had fixed one dodgy link on the chain. And so I've been bought like a tire patch kit and a hand pump. And yeah, then I was been buying I bought myself some proper cycling shorts, with padding. Oh, middle-aged woman in Lycra. Right here. And I bought a hydration backpack off Amazon as well. So I can just, get my tube and not have to carry an actual water bottle. So I'll go for a ride this afternoon. It's only 12 degrees here today, so I thought I would wait, till the afternoon when it was at least as warm as it was going to be. But I get swooped on Friday for the first time ever. Oh, go. Thanks, Margaret. See you later. Oh. I should, I'm always wondering, should I talk or not talk and just let people watch me knit? But yeah, I went into the office on Friday, Monday, because I had a new starter. No, which day? Friday. 2 days ago, Friday. And, bloody crow. I don't think it's a magpie. I think it's a crow. It swooped me. Just bounced off the back of my head. I did buy a helmet for my long rides. I wasn't wearing it just going to the office. It's only 4K away and you're on cycleways the whole way. Bloody crow bounced off the back of my head. like, what? So much hair, it didn't hurt me, but I'm like, what are you doing? Maybe I was too close to a nest or something. I know Sydney cyclists notorious for swooping, but never got swooped in Sydney. All right, so the blue is the start of the round, so that is another round complete. These are long rounds with all this cabling. Okay. So the next row will be a cable row. So this is the row where all the action happens. How exciting for you. All right. What's your day-to-day like in developer advocacy? Well, I'm a manager and a DA, so truth be told, I think over the next year I am going to be doing more and more manager stuff. I think I've been trying to hold on to the individual contributor things. So like I recorded a talk for a conference that went on Thursday. You know, I've been trying to still do meetups and events where I can. But truth be told, like I've just finished hiring. I spent the last year mainly hiring. I've hired 4 people for my team now. So, well, the last one is an internal. I've had an inclined interview, and so I just need to get him the offer, which is taking forever. But I will have my team of 4 built out, which is fantastic. It only took me a year. But I think I will probably get a few more direct reports next year as well. We're looking, our team's growing, and had a chat with my manager about how we're going to divide up all the people in the team. And so I think I need to do more manager stuff and less IC stuff, just because realistically it needs to be that way. At the moment, this time of year, a lot of planning is kicking off for next year. Also, reInvent is coming, so I'm actually sort of essentially project managing a reInvent talk right now. I was going to actually deliver it in Vegas. I was going to be one of the speakers, and one of the guys who's helping out, so there's 2 speakers. So there's Jenna in the US, and then one of the guys who's helping us out, he's an expert on the topic, and he offered to speak, and I was like, no, I want to do it. And then I realized that was just my ego talking, and it will be a better session if we have an actual expert do it. So I'm stepping back and letting him do it. But I'm not speaking. I do a lot of Culture of Innovation, which is an Amazon talk about how Amazon innovates. I actually have 2 of those presentations coming up for one of them in person here in the office in Munich, which will be my first in-person talk in like 2 years. But yeah, a lot of working on plans for next year, strategy docs. I'm a bar raiser, which means I also help out other teams with hiring. So I do at least 1 interview a week for a team outside my own. I'm the regional lead of Women in Amazon for Europe, so I usually spend a couple hours a week working on that. So there's no real typical. I'm trying to, I'm onboarding this new hire, and so he's working through his onboarding plan. But yeah, I was like, there's really no typical week, this part of the job is actually going and presenting. Part of it is writing content, which, building stuff and learning. And part of it is supporting I spend time, that's the other thing I'm doing. I spend time helping the German, Austria, Switzerland community. So we have a community day coming up in 2 weeks, and I am running a Deep Racer event for them. But again, this is all stuff I probably should do less of. Do more writing and thinking, and less pretending it's the old days. Yeah. So I'm cabling without a cable needle here. Normally when you cable, you have a separate needle that you use to slide the stitches forward and back on. But I somehow heard of the technique to do it without a cable needle. And once I learned that, I never looked back. Just making sure I haven't missed a row here. Why does that row look? I think it's just the tension. So the pattern here would normally say, slide the next 2 stitches to cable needle and hold at the front, knit 2, and then knit 2 from cable needle. So instead, to do it without a cable needle, I'm going to hook these 2 stitches from the back. I'm going to slide them all off and rearrange. That's all a cable is. A cable's knitting the stitches out of order. So now when I knit the 4, I've crossed them. I've created that twist. All right, and then this is the central tree. So this is a 1-stitch cable. That's the branch crossing over in front. So I knit that, slip the central trunk, and then do this cable. The point of that slip stitch on the trunk is it makes it stand out a little bit more. I slip it every other row, and I'll show you why. You can see that central trunk just kind of stands out really. And every other stitch, the stitches are kind of bigger than the rest, and it's because I'm doing that every other row. I'm slipping it instead of knitting it. I'm actually going to be teaching knitting. We have a big all hands coming up for like all of the marketing org in Europe. And they put out a call like a month or 2 ago, like, does anyone have like an unusual hobby or anything that they'd like? We're doing these sort of like breaking into small groups and doing, this is all virtual, doing little classes, you know, cooking or painting. And I was like, well, I knit. And they're like, oh my God, yes. So I'm going to be teaching a virtual knitting class as part of our Europe-wide all hands in a week or 2. We were up awfully late, Fee. What are you doing up so late? Because you guys had daylight savings, I think, so it's even later than I thought it was. It's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. Okay, more cable crossing. These 2, so you gotta be mindful of which way the cables are crossing. So these are symmetrical. So 1 crosses to the right and then 1 crosses to the left. So that one crossed over to the right, and this one crossed to the left. And then on the portion of plain underneath the arm. Oh, it's your alone time. Huh. Well, I'm very chuffed that you decided to spend it with me. Okay, a couple pearl stitches. So each of the sort of motifs is set off. What you usually find in cables is they're divided. So each cable has a background of pearl stitches. That's you know, the border, the white space, I guess, along each side. I guess you can see it better if I open it up. So you've got reverse stocking stitch. Those are all pearls down the middle, and along each side is the sort of white space. And then these columns in between each, you can see they kind of stand out a little more. These are done with twisted knit stitches, and that makes them just sort of pop out a little bit more. But what I'll do is, you know, with this kind of jumper, ideally what you want to do after you finish knitting it is block it. And that means, you know, you wash it and then you pin it out a little bit, because you'll see the designs a little bit better once it's dried like this rather than when it's squished up. You do blocking with lace and with cables, and it just makes them look a little bit nicer. Okay, more cables. Every 4 rows there's a row with a gazillion cables on it. Does he ever request? Not usually. He's very picky. And he also doesn't, he's the kind of person that'll say, well, I already have 3 sweaters. Like, doesn't see the need to have more than that. So I'm often like, no, I'm going to knit you this. And so once I've said I'm doing a thing, then he will have input into the creative direction. So I know from past experience, he doesn't like, you know, collars that go up around his neck. He finds it itchy. He finds wool itchy, so he tends to wear it over another shirt. So he likes either a V-neck or a shawl collar or something that's a bit more, you know, not a tight collar around the neck. I think this one, I saw the pattern and showed it to him and said, what do you think? And he's like, oh yeah, that looks nice. But it's usually me going, hey, will you wear this? And he's like, yeah, or, ooh, I don't know. Made him a few vests over the years. I mean, the vests I have made him, and actually see, this vest is counter to what he asked for, because the vests I've made him, he likes, are quite thin. They're done out of much thinner wool, and so they sort of fit nicer under a jacket. But this is the wool I have, and it's thick and soft, and so this is what he's getting. Don't know how often he'll wear it. I have a feeling this is going to be warm. I mean, I could put sleeves on it. I could knit it as just a proper jumper. Don't know if I have enough wool. I think that was the worry, that I wouldn't have enough. He's got very long arms. And yeah, I would have no chance of getting more in the same dye lot. So when you knit something like this, when you buy the wool, it will, you know, have a color number, obviously, but then they will put the number of the dye lot. And so, because there can be variations between different batches when they dye it. And if you change to a different dye lot halfway through, you will be surprised how much it can stand out. Has he baked anything amazing? Well, actually, I kind of jokingly suggested to him that he should make me a cake today. And so last when I saw him downstairs, he was pottering about, looking at what he could make with what was in the pantry, because I think we're a bit low on sugar. Let's see. I'm going to make a frittata for dinner. I think the last amazing thing he made was, I mean, really, truly was my little my cake for my birthday. Bread. He's been making bread lately, actually. He's done a couple loaves of bread. Unfortunately, you know, his he had, of course, like everybody else in lockdown last year, had sourdough going and did a couple really nice sourdough loaves in Sydney, but obviously didn't bring the creature with us to Germany. So he's just been making normal quick yeast breads, but pretty good. Yeah, the little my cake was amazing. And the Christmas log he did last year for Christmas. Gotta come up with something similar challenge for him this year. The Christmas log was so amazing. Okay, back to blue. That is that round complete. Move my pattern marker. I'm gonna make a frittata for dinner tonight, but I think I'm gonna do that one. He tried to make thumbprint cookies, you know, where you put like jam, like a drop of jam in the middle of the thumbprint, but I don't know, the jam we had just sort of melted into it, so that didn't work so well. Oh, he made these little, what were they? These sort of little Welsh cakes that are like an English muffin. He made those a few months back. That was an interesting experiment. So every other row of these cables, you don't do any cabling. You just knit the knits and purl the purls. So these rows, the even rows, go a lot faster than the cable rows. I just realized I'm gonna have to break soon and go have some lunch. What have you been up to, Fee? I see Phoebe walking and playing and just like she's a kid now. I mean, I guess lockdown possibilities are rather limited. Lots of singing. Oh yeah, I saw her singing. What was she singing? Edelweiss, wasn't it? That's the cutest thing. Oh my gosh. Her favorite song. So good. You excited to go to a cafe? Yes. Honestly, cafe. People kept asking me like, what's the thing you missed most when we were in lockdown last year? And I was like, cafe breakfast. And honestly, even when we came out of lockdown, Germans don't really do cafe breakfast the way Aussies do. At least not in Munich. We did go to when we went to Heidelberg. It's more of a uni town, and they have more of a cafe culture. We did have like a traditional Aussie style cafe brekkie, which was nice. Oh, CG and Hannah again. Oh, Hannah sent me a picture yesterday, so I could see how the bump has grown. Oh. Yeah, so you were all allowed to have picnics. Everybody's sick of picnics. I mean, pretty much back to normal. Actually, the clubs opened this weekend for the first time in over a year. And I said there's this club in Munich that has had signs up the last year. Yeah, 365 days. No singing, no dancing, no jobs. But the clubs are opening this week. Obviously, we didn't go because we're old, so I don't know how it worked. Because normally anything indoor, you got to wear your mask. Cinema, you got to wear your mask. Got to show vaccination or that you've had a test within, the last 24 hours. But yeah, I mean, go to the hairdresser. We were in Barcelona last week for work. Rod went with me. We had the weekend to sort of sightsee, and which was nice. Indoor restaurants are supposed to check your vaccination status or test, or that you have a recovered certificate. But yeah, it feels weird to go to the movies. We're going to London next month. Oh gosh. I have tickets to the theater that I've had for a year now, so that'll be another first. Going back to see theater for the first time in a really long time. Airplanes are what feels weird. But we're still work from home. Like our office is still we're both Google and Amazon are work from home until January at least. You can go into the office. When I go into the office, I book a desk. They temperature check you when you get there. Obviously, you wear a mask unless you're you can take it off if you're sitting at your desk. But whenever I've gone in, there's never like my wing of the building never has more than like 4 people in it. What are we seeing? We're seeing Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which is a book of his. But the Royal National Theatre did a production a couple years back, which was really highly acclaimed. I read all these great reviews, and then it was transferring to the West End, and so we're going to see the West End production of it. It hasn't even opened yet in the West End. I've been following on Facebook the rehearsals. But yeah, we'll be seeing that. We're thinking of what else we're going to do. We have a week. So we have some friends in Wales. So we might actually try and get out of London. Original plan was a rental car. I'm talking to my UK friends. I'm like, is the petrol shortage real? No, they said it should be fine. So we might rent a car and drive to Wales. And then some other Aussie friends live south of London. We might visit them. So it feels more normal. One of my my team back in Sydney was like, oh, so is it just everything's back to normal there? And I'm like, well, define normal. We're still wearing masks. You know, people are still trying to distance where they can. There's still, you know, a shield up at the grocery store between you and the cashier. It's not just like, you know, like in the UK where it was basically like, yeah, we're just going to pretend it doesn't exist. This in-person presentation I'm doing next week, I was talking to the account manager who said that, yeah, our internal facilities team have a hard cap. You cannot have more than 20 people in the big meeting room, big room at our office. So they're like counting each person. The Germany Community Day that I'm helping with is virtual for that reason. The original plan was to have it be in person. There's a few meetups actually that have started to go back to in person. I haven't been to any, but I know a couple meetups across Germany I've seen have tried in person. You know, strictly limited numbers and doing like hybrid where it'll be a few, like 10 people on site and everybody else watches on the internet. Should see if Rad wants to have lunch. Okay, that's another row done. That's actually the end of the pattern repeat. So I might call it there for the day. So I did another 4 rows or so. Getting up to the armpit. I'm gonna go have some lunch. And then I'm gonna, as I said, go for a ride on my bicycle while the sun is shining and see how the leaves are changing. Yeah, it won't be next weekend. We're going to Neuschwanstein, the real castle the Disney one is based on. So I don't think I'll be home on Sunday, but maybe the week after. So I'm gonna throughout the winter I'll be doing more of it as we're traveling less on the weekend. So I'll see you. It was great to talk to you. Miss you. Give my love to everybody back home. You know, we're at the halfway point, so it's flying by. So I can't wait to come back, and it'll be really fun to come back and see you all. See you later. Love you all. Bye.